Greetings, YouTube land. Okay, so this is actually my second take for doing this review here, and I'll be reviewing Hostel 2 and Scooby-Doo 2. The reason why it's a second take is my first take was like 19 freaking minutes long, and I was babbling on again. So let's get right down to the point. Well, first of all, I said that I was going to review Hostel 2 and Scooby-Doo 2 right after, I watched, or the next day after I watched and reviewed Scooby-Doo 1 and Hostel 1, but that never happened. I think I reviewed it on like Thursday. So right now it is October 21st. Again, I just did it and I now freaking forgot. October 21st, 2014. The time is now 4:08 in the afternoon. So I watched Hostel 2 at about like, what is it? When I watched this, like about 11 o'clock in the morning, 10:30, 11 o'clock, and then this one after, and it is this one around midway through. Again, I got tired, went to sleep for about another hour, woke up and finished the rest of it. So let's start off with Hostel 2. This one I absolutely, well, I was about to say absolutely loved. I don't want to say that, but I did actually dig it, like more than the first Hostel. The reason why is because I believe I like the characters more. The three girls in this one. The lead girl, played by Lauren German, I forgot her character's name. And there's another girl in there named Lorna. She was like the nerdy chick. And then you have Bayou Phillips' character, who was like the irresponsible one. Lauren German is like a strong and responsible character, and each of them have their own respective roles. In the first one, it was just the three guys, Paxton and Josh, and then the other, I think it was like a Russian guy. Their whole point was they're just going off on vacation to just get high, get laid. I just didn't really care too much for the premise. It's just something if you just want to watch like the torture going on. That's cool, for the shock value, I guess. But other than that, I couldn't really be invested in the characters so much. I just didn't really like them or care for them. This is a different story. I actually cared for these three women, mostly for Lauren German's character, the strong one, and the nerdy chick was fine too, almost like, kind of like a Velma, okay, kind of like that, but not absolutely. Not in the sense of like inventing things and capturing monsters, okay? But so yeah, so it starts off where the first one left off, where they find Paxton on the train. They take him to the hospital because he's passed out. He told them the story, and they're not really believing it. Later on, he moves to, he's kind of, I guess he's back in the U.S., where he's on vacation now in some cabin in the woods with his girlfriend who took him back. And he's telling her that, you shouldn't tell anyone where we are. Well, I told my sister. You told your sister. Well, don't worry. Even I had a hard time finding this place. They're not going to find you. He goes, that's what they do. They'll find you. So she goes back to sleep, and he goes downstairs. Some hours later, she wakes up, and she finds him in the kitchen with his head cut off. So now he's dead. So then we cut to these three girls. Like I said, Lauren Shepard, then Lorna, and Bayou Phillips' character. I don't remember. The only character name I know is Lorna that I remember, which is the nerdy chick. Let's see. They all are taking some kind of art, some art class thing where they're drawing like a naked guy. And then after they're done, he goes, and then now another, a girl comes in, and she disrobes, and she's naked, and then they're drawing her. Now, the naked girl kind of, I guess, is attracted to Lauren German's character and begins talking to her, and asks if she could see the drawing. And she looks at it, and she really likes it, and asks, well, how much can I buy it? So, no, you can just have it, and gives it to her. At least let me buy you a drink. No, some other time. They meet up again on a train, because now they're going to go on vacation. And just like what girls do, they're going on vacation. They don't have that attitude where they just want to get high and get laid, And they leave I was going to call the nerdy chick, but Lorna, in her compartment, and she's listening to her iPod. And the two girls go to the bar. This is on the train. They meet up with with that naked girl again who was posing, and she buys the naked girl. I forgot her name. Okay, the foreign naked girl, the foreign girl we'll call her, um, buys Lauren German a drink. Meanwhile, we have with Lorna, someone steals her iPod, and then Bayou Phillips meets this other foreign guy who's offering them some cocaine, I think it is. So now here's the thing with Lauren German. She looks like she's mostly there for the ride, and she goes with her and accompanies her to the guy's compartment. This is what I like about Lauren German's character. She is the responsible one. She's almost like a big sister to these girls and kind of watches over them and wants to keep them out of trouble. And I really, really dig that about a character. They go to the compartment, and it turns out they don't really have drugs. The guys just really wanted to, have sex with the girls. And they hear a scream because, like I said, Lorna's iPod got stolen. So they run back there, and she's crying and saying, someone took my iPod. They get a knock on the door, and when they open it up, it's again the foreign girl that bought them the drink. Says, did someone lose this? Kind of suspicious if you ask me, but go, oh, thanks, and you take it, and then they invite her in. And then she tells them about this place where there's this excellent spa that they can go to, take a load off. So they decide to go there. And to go to that, to go to a hostel in which it's run by that same guy from the first one, with the glasses. And he takes their ID, and that's where he goes and faxes everything to the company, and the company faxes it to their clients. Now, here's what's kind of cool. It really goes more in depth with this organization that tortures people, where it shows what they go through, how they you get to see a little bit more of their business, their business side of things, and they're bidding on these women. You have, and I think this is an actor, this guy right here. I forgot who the actor's name was, but he was in Sentinel. Will it tell me their names? It won't tell me. Maybe it is. You know what? Maybe young. Also starring Roger Bart and Richard Burgi. It might be one of those guys, but he played in Sentinel, and it was in Her Shoes with Cameron Diaz. He's the one who cheated on Tony Collette's character with Cameron Diaz's character from In Her Shoes. It's that guy. So he's the one that won the bet, and then he has another friend who's a married man, and he has a daughter. He has him on. He brings him along for the ride. He kind of wants to take him out and expose him to this. He treats him to this. What's great, it actually shows both sides of things. It shows these three girls, it shows like in equal parts, and then it will cut to those two and the bad guy side of things, and you get to see what they go through. I really dig that. It didn't really do that so much in the first one. So anyways, they're at this party, and Bayou Phillips is, picking up a guy. The nerdy girl, Lorna, sees that, who's hot, by the way. I find her very hot, very attractive. You do see her naked, hanging upside down, but still. She meets this other guy and says, you know what? She tells Lauren German, look, I just met this great guy. He wants to take me on a boat ride. And she's, of course, being the protective older sister, even though they're not really related. Please just tell me, don't go with this guy, okay? Come on. She feels as if she has to watch a little bit, over her more than Bayou Phillips' character, because she's a little bit more, like, she can take care of herself, even though she still watches over her and doesn't want her to turn out to be a big slut, but still, she can't help it. So she doesn't listen, and she goes on the boat anyways, and then she sees this, and she can't stop them. It's too late, they're already going down river. And then she meets the guy with the glasses who bought her, basically, whom the Sentinel guy, brought the friend, because he wants to kind of like talk to her a little bit and get to know her a little bit better, get to know his victim a bit. And when they leave, he says her name, and he goes, oh, goodbye, Clara, whatever her name was. How did you know my name? And then he said something, oh, I think you told me, some bullshit like that. So then, of course, Lorna gets captured, and next time you see her, she's hanging upside down by a chain, completely naked, over some ritualistic-looking tub. And they're setting up the candles and everything. This woman comes in, disrobes, and mind you, Lauren is also naked, and you see her breasts. She disrobes, and like I said, just like in the first one, you got some sick people with some sick ass fetishes. She lies down in the tub and literally takes a bloodbath, takes a scythe and starts cutting into her back, and all this blood's raining down upon her, and finally ends it off by taking like a mini hand scythe and slits her throat, and all this blood comes spraying all down on her. And she's like groping her body and everything. She's really getting off the shit. She's sick. What the hell? Okay, so Bayou Phillips gets captured, off screen, and eventually it leads to the spa. Or I don't know if it's like the spa. There's where Lauren German is just floating in the pool, with her head down, and then that foreign girl who bought her the drink starts massaging her back and then leaves. She falls asleep. When she wakes up, everyone's gone. She looks around and there's like a fog thing rolling in, and she gets out and is looking for her friends, and then she sees the henchmen coming after her, and then she takes off and hops the fence, and then runs into the forest, bumps into those same kids that were in the first one who wants bubblegum, like a gang of kids who are brutal, by the way. They begin beating on her with branches, okay, with heavy, like, branches, not thin ones either. They're thick, and they're beating on her. All of a sudden, there's a gunshot, and you see some guy along with the foreign girl, and she takes her and says, come on, get away from her, leave her alone. And then they kind of back off, and then she takes her into the limo, and then that guy that has a gun lines up all the boys, and he actually shoots one of the kids. So just as a warning, there is a child death in here. Gets shot with a pistol. They go back home, and she explains everything. Yeah, sometimes these kids, they can get a little rowdy. So who is this guy? Is that your, he goes, oh, no, it's just a friend. Okay, she thought it was a husband. So why don't you come upstairs and take a nap? So she goes and sleeps, but something about her, she doesn't quite trust her. So leaves her in the room. She looks out the window, sees that the henchmen are coming, and then she tries to make her escape. She actually goes into the room where there's a secret compartment in the closet where there are all these heads hanging, as trophies on the wall, and Paxton's head is like in the middle of it all. I guess it's his latest prize. So when she gets captured, I'll just end it right there. She gets captured, and she's prepped for being tortured. And Bayou Phillips is the victim of the guy who started in the Sentinel, and Lauren German is with the glasses guy who was talking to her at the party. Let's just say that there is a twist that I absolutely loved in this film. I love how the perfect balance between what's going on with the three girls and what's going on with the two main antagonists, and what's going on the on the business side of things, with the organization. Okay. And Lauren German, like I said, is a very powerful, strong antagonist. Love her. And it is empowering to women, in my personal opinion, I feel. And I just love how she kind of takes charge. She's practically fearless, uh, in danger, in the face of danger. Love that. And let's just say the whole thing will end off, let's just say with a full castration scene, balls and all, and gets fed to the dogs. And I was cracking up. Okay, so now let's get down to Scooby-Doo 2. God, I don't want this to linger on too long. This one, it is basically about there's a masked figure who is transforming the costumes that are in this museum, run by the curator, which is Seth Green, stealing the costumes and transforming all the costumes into real monsters. It's a monster making machine, and it starts off with them looking, taking a tour, Mr. Ink, taking a tour of this, taking a tour of the museum, seeing all these costumes, and the pterodactyl ghost comes alive and attacks everyone and wrecks up the whole museum, and that's when you see the masked figure, and then it takes off and carries off the his boss, and they fly out the window and make their escape. Eventually it leads to let's see here, there's this there's a bounty on their heads where they want telling the people of Coolsville to turn in Mystery Inc. So everyone's like after them, and they have no one on their side, especially now because Alicia Silverstone, mind you, she's also in here, and she's a reporter, and she's kind of slandering Mystery Inc.'s name, slandering their good name. So they don't have a friend to turn to, so they have to go back to their old high school base, and you see a nice little flashback of how they were in high school, and they figure something out, and to go to the base, and you see like such classics like Cutler's Ghost, the Pterodactyl Ghost, the Black Knight Ghost, the 10,000 volt creature. There's a cotton candy ghost creature that Scooby and Shaggy take out. They actually consume it, and they say, Shaggy says, finally, a monster that we can defeat. Speaking of their performances as well, again, it's Matthew Lillard and Linda Cardellini, or Cardellini, who really stole the show with their dead-on performances of their respective roles. Scooby was also really good, and he looks better in this one. I think in the first one, there are parts really where you can kind of tell he's somewhat superimposed here. They kind of did a better job making Scooby look like he blends in more. And then, of course, Daphne and Fred, Sarah Michelle Gellar and Freddie Prinze Jr., they weren't bad. They were still good. Just it's kind of hard to kind of nail their characters because in the cartoons, I guess they're kind of flat anyways. So they kind of injected some of their own personality into it. Freddie Prinze Jr. though seems still a little bit more kind of like goofy, I guess, as Fred, but still, decent job for what he did with the role, I guess. Sarah Michelle Gellar though was better, a lot better than Freddie Prinze, of course, and I believe those two were married. I don't know if they're still married now. So Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed. Our heroes probe why Coolsville is overrun with monsters the pals defeated years ago. But now the beastly beings are back. Seth Green, like I said, is in here as a curator. Let's see. There's a funny part in here where when Scooby and Shaggy invade the basement of the hideout where the villain is, and they kind of raid the fridge, and it's not full of food, but it's with these potions, and they start consuming it, and it starts transforming them into like various creatures and stuff like that. Like with Shaggy, he transforms into like a as you put it, I have a chick's body. It's him, but he's got a chick's body. Scooby gets transformed into Einstein, like an Einstein dog, and Shaggy gets transformed into this muscle-bound moron. That's a very, very funny scene, and as Night of the Creepy Monster Squad and TJ Pyramid would say, it was a hoot. Okay, I finally get to say it, guys. All right, so it was a hoot to see that part, and this Scooby-Doo 2 was an absolute hoot. So really love that one. Really love this one, and I do love it actually better than the first one. The first one was good, but the second one was just, yeah, I have to say I do like the second one more. Okay, so the PQ-AQ on Hostel 2 was not as good as the first one. There seems to be black crushing. You can't really see a lot of fine detail, especially even in the close-ups. Something just doesn't look detailed about it, and even on the faraway shots, it's kind of not so clear, but not terrible by any means. They're still way worse than that, but it should have been better. Okay, and the picture quality in here is outstanding, I think. Okay, so there you go. Just like with the first film. What else can I say? I'm not an expert on any of these things. I use my eyes to judge it. So yeah. So let's see. Down to my final score for Hostel Part 2. I'm going to give this one a strong. You know what? I'm going to give it a strong 3.25 out of 5 stars, and for Scooby-Doo 2, I'm going to give it 4.25. Okay? So, and that's out of 5. So 3.25, a strong 3.25, and a solid 4.25. Okay, so there we go. There's my review. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm going to probably upload this on the HorrorGlobe as well. Thank you guys for watching, and happy Halloween.